and I were scheduled to go on vacation on the 7th of July. We were supposed to go to Portugal right after the gig, but my kids all got sick. They all had a stomach virus, and it was really gross. And so we canceled the trip, and we just hung out at our family house in England for a week, and it was awesome. It was sunny. My dad was in an amazing mood. He was really happy every day. He was opening up the newspaper and seeing different reviews and different stories from the Back to the Beginning show, and it was great.
Jack Osbourne is talking about his father, the renowned rock star Ozzy Osbourne, and his tragic last moments in a very passionate manner. Jack recounted in frank and unvarnished terms how, at approximately 3:45 in the morning, he was given the heartbreaking news that no child ever wants to hear. In the middle of the night, a long-standing family employee who had been a constant in their lives for over 30 years showed up at his Los Angeles home. Jack's stomach dropped as he saw him at the door. He realized right away that something was seriously off. It seemed as though time had stopped when the news that his father had passed away finally reached him. Jack acknowledged that the moment was both tragic and oddly serene. He talked about how he felt both a great deal of sadness and relief that his father was no longer dealing with the health issues that had plagued him in previous years. Knowing that his father had sacrificed everything for his family and his fans till the very end, he thought about how fleeting yet profound such emotions were. Ozzy had performed what would be his last live concert just weeks before he died. He Montos Sanis played a final show with Black Sabbath at Birmingham's Villa Park on July 5th. Ozzy had to perform while seated due to his health, but his spirit was evident from the stadium's excitement and the strength of his voice. Jack described how that night seemed to give his father new life, and fans were moved to tears as they realized they were seeing history. He claimed that the show gave Ozzy a newfound sense of direction and that it was a fantastic way to terminate his career in front of his closest loved ones. Soon after, the family decided to take a summer vacation to Portugal. But when Jack's kids contracted the stomach illness, those plans abruptly changed. What initially appeared to be a discouraging setback turned out to be a boon. Jack chose to remain in the UK and, surprisingly, spent an additional week with his father. In retrospect, he stated he had never been so appreciative of the interruption, describing it as the most significant present he could have had in his last days. Ozzy had been fighting sickness for years, yet his passing was unexpected. Jack clarified that there had been no indications of impending death in the preceding hours. No one in the family anticipated the news would arrive so abruptly, even though his father appeared frail at his most recent performance. When Jack thought back on his father's life, he drew a picture that went well beyond the rock star image. Ozzy was humorous, clumsy, awkward, profoundly perceptive, and hilarious, according to him. He claimed that others frequently misinterpreted him, thinking he was aloof or preoccupied. However, Jack claims that Ozzy was always more conscious than anyone knew. Actually, he frequently feigned being checked out in order to watch and comprehend those around him. Jack posted a heartfelt remembrance on social media 2 weeks after the loss. He reflected on the 14,500 days he had the good fortune to spend with his father in a poignant Facebook message. In addition to quoting Hunter S. Thompson, he accompanied his message with a montage of family moments and said that life should be a wild ride full of passion and fearlessness, rather than a slow trek to the tomb. Jack echoed his father's audacious mindset by concluding, "What a ride." On July 22nd, the world found out that Ozzy Osbourne had died. Acute myocardial infarction and cardiac arrest outside of the hospital were recorded as the official causes, with Parkinson's disease and coronary artery disease being mentioned as contributing factors. On July 30th, his funeral was held in a symbolic procession through Birmingham, past the family home, Villa Park, and a number of sites associated with his legacy. In a final farewell, tens of thousands of people crowded the streets. Later, relatives, friends, and famous musicians attended a private service. As Ozzy had requested, he was finally buried at the family's estate next to a serene lake. In the weeks that followed, Jack also had to defend his father's memory against criticism. When Pink Floyd's Roger Waters made disparaging comments about Ozzy and Black Sabbath, Jack responded fiercely, standing up for his father's legacy and refusing to let negativity overshadow a lifetime of achievement. Through grief and loss, one truth remains for Jack. He remembers not only a global icon, but also a loving father whose humor, quirks, and presence filled his life with joy. For Jack, the memories and gratitude will endure far beyond the headlines, ensuring that Ozzy Osbourne's extraordinary legacy continues to shine.